Tonight on Newswatching, the Queen's funeral happening today.
Plus, New York animal rescuers save a drowning raccoon stuck in a storm drain.
Also, the New York Mets are on the brink of history. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jack Casello.
And I'm Ian Kirsch. All that and more coming up on Newswatching tonight. New York City officials claim that many Latin American migrants being bussed in from Texas do not want to be relocated to New York. Texas Governor Greg Abbott began sending migrant buses to New York in early August, responding to the Biden administration's open border policies, overwhelming Texas communities. New York City Commissioner of Immigration Affairs Manuel Castro responds by saying many of these fleeing migrants are Venezuelan and wish to go to Florida, where the largest community of Venezuelans live. He says they are doing their best to help the migrants reach their final destination, but other cities and states must play a role in solving this issue. The city says about 9,800 asylum seekers have entered the shelter system since arriving from Texas, and around 7,300 of them still remain in the system.
Today is a sad day. After more than a week of mourning, the processions, ceremonies, and vigils will culminate at 11 a.m. London time with the funeral for Queen Elizabeth II. The Queen ruled the throne for 70 years and 214 days. At the age of 96, she was the longest living and longest reigning British monarch. The funeral will be held at Westminster Abbey in central London. It will be the first time a monarch's funeral will be held at Westminster Abbey since the 18th century. The funeral will be followed by a committal at St. George's Chapel in Windsor, where the Queen's parents, sister Princess Margaret, and beloved husband Prince Philip are laid to rest. Many world leaders, including President Biden, will be in attendance, and it is believed that some former presidents, including Barack Obama and George Bush, will also be there.
And New York animal rescuers were alerted of a raccoon stuck in a storm drain in Port Jefferson, Long Island. Rescuer Frankie Floridia rushed to the scene to see the raccoon struggling to swim and in danger of drowning, especially with the increase of unexpected rain and rising tides in the coming hours. Floridia said if they had arrived just a bit later, the water would have consumed him and he would have been finished. The raccoon was rescued using a catch pole and fished out of the water into a plastic container. The raccoon ended up being completely fine and was soon released back into the wild. Skeletal remains found at a New York City construction site over 2 years ago have been positively identified as Stevie Bates, a 19-year-old Occupy Wall Street protester who had reported missing in 2012. Bates attended Hunter College and was deeply involved in the Occupy Wall Street movement, camping out in Zuccotti Park with hundreds of other protesters for 2 months until dispersed by police in November of that year. In late April of 2012, Bates went to visit her boyfriend in New York City, and her body was found close to that home back in 2020. Her cause of death remains part of an ongoing investigation, but so far her death is not considered a homicide.
Golden State Warriors point guard and two-time NBA Most Valuable Player Steph Curry is set to sign a huge lifetime deal with Under Armour. Curry and Under Armour are nearly locked on a deal that will be worth more than $1 billion, according to Matt Sullivan of Rolling Stone magazine. Curry joined Under Armour in 2013, landing a signature shoe and merchandising deal. His first sneaker dropped in 2015 as the Under Armour Curry Ones. Since then, Curry has become the face of Under Armour, even creating his own sub-brand named the Curry brand. With this new deal, Steph Curry will become only the second player in NBA history to reach the $1 billion earnings mark while still playing in the NBA. The only other player in history to accomplish this feat is Los Angeles Lakers forward LeBron James, who reached the mark last season. The Tompkins County Sheriff's Office has announced the arrest of Jaza Abdur-Razik after a weapons situation at Cayuga Medical Center on Tuesday evening. Nobody was injured during the incident, according to Lieutenant Kyle Koskinen. Deputies were at the hospital attending to a different matter when they received report of a man with a gun in the emergency room. Abdur-Razik was then arrested and charged with 2 counts of third-degree criminal possession of a weapon for having a prior felony and the gun's serial number being defaced.
Car manufacturing company Jeep has brought the world's largest rubber duck to the Detroit Auto Show, celebrating the trend of ducking. What is ducking? Ducking is a trend where Jeep owners buy mini rubber ducks, leave messages on them, and then put them on other Jeeps to make their owners smile. The trend began in July of 2020 when Jeep owners Allison Parliament bought some rubber ducks with the intention of pranking a friend. On her way out of the store, she saw another Jeep Wrangler and decided to leave one of her ducks on the car with the message, "Nice Jeep" on it. She was then spotted by the owner, who thought it was a nice gesture, saying, "The world needs more of this." The giant rubber duck stands at 6 stories tall and weighs 8,000 pounds. Owner Craig Samborski says, "I get enormous satisfaction from making people happy with this."
In the world of baseball, the New York Mets are about to make history. Their magic number for the postseason is down to just 2 games. This will be the first postseason berth for the Amazons since 2016. It's also notable as this will be the first time the Mets will make the playoffs under new owner Steve Cohen, who bought the team in 2021 from former longtime owner Fred Wilpon. At his opening press conference, Cohen stated that his goal is to bring a championship to Flushing in 3 to 5 years. Cohen is well ahead of pace as the Mets are about to head to the playoffs in his second year at the helm.
You know, Jack, I haven't seen a Mets game in quite a while, but I'm happy to hear that they're doing well, and hopefully they do well in the coming playoffs.
Yeah, Ian, I got to say, it's always great when New York baseball teams are doing well, and especially for the Mets, they don't make the playoffs often, and with tonight's matchup against the Brewers, they have a chance to clinch, and they got a Hall of Fame pitcher in Max Scherzer on the mound to help them do it.
Big game. Let's hope they do well. Coming up next, a new bacterial infection is spreading from within the Ithaca College dining halls, causing them to be closed indefinitely.
Plus, Newswatch anchor Jeremy Goldstein freaks out over Aaron Judge possibly not getting the American League MVP.
And an update on Central New York weather.
Stay with us.